Creed, you can go ahead. This is the Williamson County Election Commission meeting, Thursday, June the 4th at 4 o'clock. Meeting telephonically, electronically under Governor Bill's Executive Order 16, which has been superseded by Executive Order 34 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Additional measures are being taken to comply with the Tennessee open meeting requirements to allow for public access. However, physical public access will be limited to protect public health, safety, and welfare.
Mr. Chairman, you might mention that each member needs to state their name and that they could hear you or hear us.
Yeah, I was getting ready to do that. If there's no objection from members, I will submit for the minutes that the Election Commission has determined that this meeting is being held electronically to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the public due to the COVID-19 pandemic. When roll call is called by the chairman, please acknowledge your name when your name is called and that you can hear the other members of the board. And all votes must be taken by roll call, and I will call your name at the time to express your vote. Prior to making a motion or a second or asking a question or making a comment, please state your name. So I'd like to take the roll, starting with Dana.
Dana Smith, and I'm here and can hear you.
Phyllis.
Phyllis Strive, aye, present.
Jonathan Duda.
Jonathan Duda, present and can hear you just clear. Thank you.
And Kim Henke.
Kim Henke, present. I can hear you.
Great. All members are present. This is the chairman, Robert Brown. We will commence with the agenda. Under old business, we're going to defer the May 16th minutes to the next meeting, but we need to approve the minutes from May 11th. And I'm assuming everyone's gotten a copy of that. And were there any comments, changes to be made to those minutes? Corrections? Seeing no comments, changes, or corrections, does anyone entertain a motion for approval?
Jonathan Duda, I make a motion that we approve the May 11th, 2016 or 2020, excuse me, Election Commission meeting minutes.
We have a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I second, Phyllis Strive.
We have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting or approving the minutes from May 11th, 2020, let's take a roll call. Dana?
Dana Smith, aye.
Phyllis?
Aye. Phyllis Strive.
Thank you. Mr. Duda?
Jonathan Duda, aye.
Ms. Henke?
Kim Henke, aye.
And Robert Brown votes aye as well. Motion carries 5-0. Under new business today, we need to accept the resolution 2020-008 from the town of Thompson Station calling for a special referendum to annex a certain property into the town. You want to discuss that, Chad?
Sure. The town of Thompson Station put me on notice about this several weeks ago. They have one parcel on Les Watkins Road in the 2nd County District that the property owner is wishing to be annexed. And as you all might remember that have been on the commission a little while, or those that haven't even been on the commission a little while, the town of Thompson Station has done this sort of thing before. This is a much smaller property for annexation than they did last time, but by code, once the resolution notice appears in the newspaper, which was on May 23rd, the commission must hold the election not less than 30 days nor more than 60 days after the publication of the resolution. So our window would be June 23rd through July 23rd to set the election date. There would be one voter involved. They are a non-resident property rights kind of voter situation. The legislature changed the law a couple of years ago to allow not only residents but non-resident property owners to vote in an annexation referendum such as this.
The resolution copy I have, Chad, says it's number 2020-009 and not 008. Is that correct?
Okay.
I have the 9.
Okay, I think I know how that happened. I was trying to read what was printed in the newspaper, and the print was so small I must have misinterpreted. So I will amend that in the agenda if that's appropriate.
So the physical resolution is 009, 008. Is it the printed copy we have?
The when I received a copy of the public notice, the print was so small. Let me see if I can make sense of this. I wonder, it appears to be an 8 in the public notice. So this is the copy that I sent you all was what the attorney sent me. So let me see if the wording is the same on both documents real quick.
Yeah, I noticed there were 2 documents. Are they both the same or are they different?
Let's see. Yeah, that was what I guess there were 2 documents in what the attorney sent me, but the
They look to be copies to me.
yeah, the resolution number as it appeared in the newspaper is clearly 008. So I'm not sure how that. I'm sure that's an 8.
All right, well, let's change
So-
our written copy to 008 then, since that's what was in the newspaper.
Yeah, we can do that. I that must just be a typo error, I guess.
And then I'm assuming the original was signed by the mayor, the town recorder, and the town attorney.
Yeah, I'll get with them on that and make sure that is corrected. I'm not sure if we need to take any action or not, but that will impact how it appears on the ballot because the question will be for or against, and it will list the printed resolution number.
Okay, so we have to take action on a resolution calling for a referendum to annex certain territory and to incorporate the same within the boundaries of the town of Thompson Station, Tennessee, and to approve a plan of services for 4,440 Les Watkins Road, 144 parcel 001 .01, approximately 4.45 acres. Is there anyone that would like to make a motion to this effect?
Well, I had one question. This is Dana Smith.
Okay,
Okay, up at the top in the heading, it says map 144. But then down at the bottom, it says map 114.
what does it say in the newspaper?
Let me see. I may need to retrieve the magnifying glass to read this.
Yeah.
It says map 144 in the newspaper. So map 144, parcel 1.01, approximately 4.45 acres.
So
Jonathan, do you have a question?
I do.
I could feel it coming.
Yeah, I'm sorry. On the Thompson Station website, town website, on their agendas, they have a resolution 2020-008.
And that's
Okay.
that was
That,
when it was in the newspaper. Is that correct?
well, I don't, that would match the one that's in the newspaper. And it appears to be the same property number or parcel map 114 approved in April. The resolution provided to us as 2020-009 and approved and adopted in May. I don't know if that's germane to the question of this property and the reference of it that would be in the referendum, but I'm not quite sure how to resolve the conflict of the resolution number.
I concur.
That was Phyllis Strife concurring. Is that correct?
Yes, concur with him. Yes.
And what exactly are
Well,
we?
should I get? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What are we? What was Phyllis concurring to? Jonathan, what was your?
Well, my question is if we have to approve the language of the referendum, and we need to do so now due to the timing requirements, I'm not certain if we refer to the proper address of the property and identify the property sufficiently, if that's enough, or if we have to include a resolution number. There appear to be two versions.
Okay, Chad, is there any way you can get the mayor of Thompson Station or the attorney to join our meeting?
Yeah, let me call the city administrator down there real quick, and I'll get him involved in the conversation. So. The city administrator did not answer his phone. Let me try the clerk real quick.
Jonathan, this is Bob. You stated earlier that the actual resolution from the town of Thompson Station was in April.
Hello, good afternoon. This is Chad Grady.
Yes, sir.
What was the date?
April 14th, 2020 is when a resolution 2020-008, a resolution calling for a public hearing of the proposed annexation of territory into the town of Thompson Station.
Okay, the resolution doesn't refer to the meeting where it was approved. It refers to the date of the public hearing. Could the public hearing have occurred in May 12th?
It's entirely possible. The May 12th agenda for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Thompson Station does not include a resolution germane to annexation. There's no resolution 2020-009 or 08.
But the last page of this, and this is Dana Smith, it says it's submitted to public hearing on June 9th.
That's true.
So we may,
Looks like there's all kind of problems here.
Mhm.
You got the wrong map number, potentially the wrong date, potentially the wrong resolution number.
well, I got some good news. The property owner address, looking up the address on the Williamson County Property Assessment Database, confirms the map ID as 144. Parcel 00101.
Okay.
So Williamson County records can confirm the map.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm back. I talked to the town clerk and she does not know why the numbers are different, but she's trying to get the attorney involved in the call.
Okay. Well, I don't know that we can set the date and the election hours until we accept the resolution or set early voting hours. So perhaps we can move on to other business if anyone has any and come back to this in the meantime. Does anyone have any other business to bring before the commission?
Um,
Was that,
what about the Phyllis Trifair, the letter to the editor that we just received? Are we handling that?
can you read the letter or tell us what it says?
The voting process was one terrible mess. Evidently, October, this is written by Frank Andrews.
Referring to the last election?
That was for the Franklin City election, I believe.
He said it's not very complimentary. My advice to the election commission is get this mess fixed and soon.
What was the particular, was there any issues particularly that he raised?
It was a letter to the editor. Carolyn voted with him. I guess that's his wife. And he, I can read this part here. The workers were most cordial and helpful, but what a shock we had when we voted. It was a mess, evidently. And who is responsible for this sorry, expensive mess? Is there any wonder why people are avoiding the voting booth? Mind you, each booth has had its printer to print out your vote. Then you take the printer or the printout to another location to deposit. Then you take the bottom tear off to another slot for deposit. What utter chaos you will experience when the time comes for the general election. My advice to the election commission, get this mess fixed and soon.
So
Okay, this is Kim Hankey. That was from October 16th, 2019.
Right? I want to know why I have this.
okay, why do you have it?
Was this handled by us at all? This is new to me. This is the first I've seen this.
Where did you get it? Who sent it to you?
Evidently he did. It's Frank Andrews.
Okay, well, I'll address some of those issues.
And it is dated October 1819, but I got a copy of this. Is this continuation of the not being satisfied, or has this been handled previously?
I've not seen a copy of that, so I can't answer that, but I can answer some of the questions that were raised. One, the tear off, I agree with Mr. Andrews that that was very cumbersome and difficult. We went to the state legislature and proposed a new law that did not require the additional step of tearing off the stub. That was passed by the legislature in the last election. We didn't, am I correct? And we did not have to do that?
Not yet.
Okay, that has not been incorporated yet, but the legislature passed the law. So we can take that one step out of the process, making it much more efficient. I think the commission has thoroughly reviewed that particular issue, and we all agreed in going to the legislature and getting that tab removed from the process. And it has happened in August. It will be smoother. There is, so I can say there's the step of actually printing off the ballot was incorporated by the commission because we wanted to have a paper trail in the voting system. And so we approved the new voting machines knowing that we had a paper trail, because we thought that gave the voters of the county more confident that their vote could be counted. And if we had to have a recount, we could actually count paper if need be.
Yeah.
So I'm very comfortable that the step we took there was for the voters' best interest and for the best interest of the voting process. But the step of the tab, which I agree was very cumbersome, has been corrected and will lead to a more efficient voting process.
Okay, that's my question right there. It has been addressed.
Correct.
We
Any
have looked into this.
commissioners want to weigh in on that?
Yeah, Jonathan Duda, I agree with you, Chairman, that we addressed the items that we could to the extent that state law required us to have that stub, and we had that process amended based on feedback like this. And additionally, our election in February we learned from that experience for the presidential preference primary. And we are taking additional steps this next election in August to gain efficiencies in the process. So I appreciate your comments, sir.
I do too.
Just as an aside to that, both of those voters cast ballots during early voting for the last election. So,
Okay, so they're satisfied and we won't get derogatory. Okay.
So, Chad, is the town attorney called in, or is he calling in? Or?
no, I have not heard back from them. So,
We have a call-in user number 3 on our screen. I wonder who that is. Is there any other business to be brought for the commission?
someone just joined, I think.
Kay Vandervoort.
Yes, that is the city attorney for the town of Thompson Station.
Okay.
Hi, Kirk. How are you?
I am doing well. I hope you all are doing well.
Well, we are.
Yes.
We noticed a little bit of a issue with the resolution number on what between what was printed in the newspaper and what was sent to me this week from Andrew, I believe, or yourself. I forget which one.
Okay, I think Andrew would have sent it. Andrew is here in the office and he's actually getting ready to join. I think the 08 is the resident. I don't have it here in front of me, but the 08 was the one that was calling for Andrew, correct me if I'm wrong, the plan of services. For the public hearings. And then 09 actually did the referendum.
This is Commissioner Jonathan Duda. I've got a real quick question. Is it my understanding that the public hearing and the consideration by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of Thompson Station for this request for a referendum is not going to occur until June 9th? It has not yet occurred.
Correct. That is correct. That is correct. June the 9th is the scheduled regular BOMA meeting for it to be taken up for consideration.
Thank you, sir. Jonathan Duda, thank you, sir. Chairman Brown?
Yes.
It would appear that we are ahead of posture for this request.
So, understanding what you're saying, Jonathan, is that you don't think we can approve this resolution until the public hearing has occurred.
Jonathan Duda, I would like some guidance or thoughts of opinion from the representatives of Thompson Station or Mr. Gray on whether we can accept a request for a referendum that hasn't officially been made.
Please, y'all, Andrew Mills. I'll give you my thoughts on this. Obviously, defer to your ultimate decision, but basically, my understanding of the statute for the Election Commission to hold a referendum vote is you have to wait at least 30 days, but no more than 60 days from the triggering date. Looking at the statute, it looked to me, and Mr. Gray, if you have a different opinion, please let me know, that that triggering date was the date we put this in the paper for publication. We put it for publication because we're required to for both public hearings, one being on the plan of services, which was already recommended by the Planning Commission for Thompson Station, and the other one being the public hearing on the annexation itself. And then they would pass the second resolution. The first resolution called for all of it as required by the new law, and then the second one would be the actual referendum. Now, I will point out that at any point, the referendum could be canceled by the requesting party, Thompson Station. We don't anticipate doing that, but I'm just saying it's technically in flux until it happens. So whether it's ahead of schedule or not, I leave to your discretion, but I don't think you're out of line. I think you would approve it to happen in the 30 to 60 day window from the time we put it in the paper. We are just obviously going to be actually voting on it Tuesday night in I guess that'd be 5 days. If it doesn't pass, we would let you know immediately and you take it off of the schedule. And if it does pass, it's ready to go. That's kind of the way I've been seeing this and operating under this, but I defer to.
This is Chairman Brown. What was the date of the newspaper publication?
It was May 23rd.
So this is published the 23rd, and we cannot approve that then for 30 days?
Have the actual referendum election for 30 days, but you must have it within 60 days is the way I've read it.
So, okay.
Just as an aside, I did send the copy of the public notice to Beth Henry Robertson, the Assistant Coordinator of Elections for the Division of Elections, who's also their attorney. And she said that date, that's the date we start doing our timing for the election. Now, I'm not sure if she read the entirety of the notice or not.
Okay, this is Chairman Brown again. I have a question on this resolution 2020-009. The title of the resolution has map 144. Down at the bottom of the first page, when it talks about the address, it refers to map 114. Is one of those a misprint or a typo?
We're gonna pull it up and take a look.
Andrew Mills again, that is a misprint. Our apologies. The one down in the body that says 114 is incorrect. The correct map is 144.
Okay, thank you. Now, I'm a little confused. You said the public hearing has not occurred yet.
Correct.
In the third whereas in your resolution, it says the public hearing occurred May the 12th. On the first page.
Yes, sir. The public hearing actually won't happen. That was the originally scheduled date. The public hearing actually won't occur until June 9th. It'll be before the passage of this resolution. We're going to have the 2 public hearings occur prior to the BOMA's consideration of that. So that would be a date that would need to be updated, and we make sure it's updated before the BOMA meeting on Tuesday.
So this date is incorrect. It's June the 9th.
Yes, sir.
Chairman Brown, I've got a question.
Yes.
Jonathan Duda, question for Mr. Gray. If we were to meet our public notice requirements to hold a meeting post June 9th, would we still have time to set the public notice requirements we have for the round of election and other business that we have publicly already certified for the ballots?
Well, you know, we have to hold the election during that time frame. So my consideration today is that my intention was to hold this election prior to when we started early voting for our August 6th election.
Okay.
I think from just a pure administrative standpoint, that's going to be a lot easier to manage
Okay.
for us, even though I know it's just one voter. But keep in mind, we have to have early voting for that election as well as election day. So that was my intention, was to hold the election either the last week of June or the first week of July.
So if, Chad, this is Chairman Brown. If we were to defer this vote to our next meeting on the, is it the 14th?
I think we had agreed on the 16th of June.
That would be too late to fit into your time frame. Is that correct?
Well, that is correct. Keep in mind that this election requires all of the public notices that a normal election would require, which would not be. It would include not only a sample ballot for election day and for early voting, but a notice of an election day precinct. Absentee voting dates have to be published 25 days prior to election day, and the notice of an election on a question must be published not less than 20 days prior to the election.
Okay, there's a lot of corrections on this resolution that make me uncomfortable. But let's go ahead and see if we can't get a correct resolution here in order to meet these deadlines.
Yes, sir.
One more question. On the 3rd page of the resolution, it says it was advertised in the Williamson AM newspaper on the 24th of May, 2020. So earlier you said, I think, Chad, it was May 23rd.
Well, let me look at that date. No, I'm sorry, I'm incorrect. It was on the 24th, Sunday, Williamson AM.
All right, so that's correct. So my understanding of the resolution before us, this resolution is actually number 2020-009. Although the newspaper said it was 2020-008. Is that a problem?
Mr. Chairman, I've asked for Beth Henry Robertson to join the call because she has worked with me on this some. I'm not sure. Is there another caller that's joined?
Andrew Mills has joined the call.
He is the attorney for Thompson Station. Yes.
Okay. I do not see Beth Henry Robinson yet.
Oh, okay. Who is call-in user 3? Is
I don't
that?
know, but they've been on for quite a while.
Chairman, this is Jonathan Duda. That I believe is Kim Henke.
Yes.
Okay, so she is, okay.
I see myself listed by my name.
Yep, I see your name listed too.
This is Kim. I mean, I'm not on the video, but I'm on the call.
Did you attempt to do the video, Kim?
Yes.
Did you attempt to do the video?
No, I don't have a camera on my
Uh,
non-work computer.
Okay.
Chairman, we have two instances. Kim signed in on a computer and then speaking on a phone. Two separate instances, I believe.
Okay. So we're
Oh, okay.
waiting on Beth Henry Robinson to join us. Is that correct, Chad?
Yes, I just talked to her a moment ago. I don't know if she's trying to log on at present, but let me send her the information again.
Okay. In the meantime, I want to go through the referendum to make sure what I have in front of me is now correct. Is it resolution 2020-009 or is it resolution 008? What are we approving?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, Andrew Mills, Resolution 008 called for the public hearings and the development of the plan of services and everything else associated with that. Resolution 009 is the one that will be before the Thompson Station BOMA on Tuesday night. That will
Okay.
actually call for the referendum vote.
Okay. And we are also changing the third whereas paragraph, which says a public hearing on the proposed annexation and the public hearing on the plan of services. It says was held by the town of Thompson Station's Board of Mayor and Aldermen on June the 9th. Should we say will be held, or how do we want to make sure we do this so that you guys have a legitimate call for a referendum?
If I may, when this resolution is put to the BOMA, the public hearings will have happened earlier in the meeting. I mean, I know we're talking maybe minutes different in time, but it will have been past tense at that point.
Do we, in our call today, do we put June 9th on here, 2020?
Yes, sir.
And we are correcting at the bottom of page 1, it's map 144.
Yes, sir.
And this will be resolved and adopted on June the 9th or May 12th.
June the 9th, sir.
So we need to change the bottom of page 2 to the 9th day of June. Okay. Are there any other changes that I've missed? Either other commissioners or Chad or the town of Thompson Station?
Chairman, Jonathan Duda. Question.
Yes, sir.
Is there enough time and opportunity for us to call a special called meeting for next week after the 9th and proceed in regular order of business? Our motion or on our agenda is a item to accept the request. And I am concerned that even though this is a single person making the request for annexation, this is an annexation outside of the urban growth boundary. And that process, to me, requires the process to be completed before we take it for granted and just and accept the request. So I'm just asking, in terms of process, can we accommodate a meeting of Wednesday or Thursday of next week to hear this in time?
This is Dana Smith, and I agree with Jonathan. I don't feel comfortable voting on this in its current state. And I'd like the form to be cleaned up and the dates to be correct and to do it after their meeting.
Okay. I'll have to ask Chad. Is Chad available?
What was the date again? I was trying to look something up real quick.
Yeah. if we were to call a meeting on the 10th, does that give you enough time to conduct the election in the time frame you were wanting to?
Yeah, that will work. The plan that I had sort of outlined for this would be to, uh, well, the election. We could stick to the timetable that 1 week will not affect the timetable that we're working with.
Okay, can I ask the town of Thompson Station, what time on the 9th are you planning to have these meetings? Is it the evening?
Meeting occurs at 7 PM on Tuesday evening.
Okay,
ninth.
so we would not be able to meet on the 9th. So if we met on if we deferred this today to June the 10th at 4 o'clock, or would all the commissioners be available then to have a special called meeting?
Strife, yes.
Dana Smith, yes.
Kim Hankey, yes.
Duda, yes.
Okay, so that would be obviously a quorum. Now I want to ask the town of Thompson Station, do you have a problem with us deferring the approval of this until after your meeting on the 9th if we were to schedule a meeting on the 10th?
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Mills, no, we would not. And before your meeting, we would have a fully executed resolution by the recorder and the mayor for your consideration, not a copy. So I think that would work for
Fully
me.
executed and signed, everything correct? I think
Yes, sir.
we would feel more comfortable doing that. Would that work for you guys?
That will work for us, sir.
Okay. Jonathan, do you want to make a motion to defer this to a called meeting on the 10th?
Yes, I make a motion that we defer new business items 1, 2, and 3 for June 10th at 4 PM.
Do we, Chad, would it be helpful to go ahead and set a date today in anticipation, or would that make everyone uncomfortable?
No, I'm good with that. I mean, this is not anything controversial whatsoever or anything like that. I mean, there's no reason to think that their board of mayor and aldermen would not follow through with this process.
Okay, I just know some of these property resolutions can get taken to court, and I think it behooves us to do it properly so it's not an issue. So I would support Mr. Duda's motion. Is there a second to the motion?
Strife, second motion.
We have a motion to defer the action on the resolution calling for referendum in the town of Thompson Station. We have a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none.
Mr. Chairman, someone just joined the call. Can we find out who that
Hey,
is?
Chad, it's
Oh,
Beth.
good. Beth has made it in.
I couldn't get to the phone. Pardon me?
Yeah, we're glad you made it through. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Oh, hi, I'm Beth Henry Robertson. I work in the Tennessee Division of Elections. And Chad was trying to let me get through by phone and it wouldn't go through. So I thought, well, I'll just try to get in through the link. And I'm it.
This is Chairman Brown. Welcome, Beth. And just FYI to those from the town of Thompson Station, this is our expert.
I would not go that far, but I try to help.
If Beth doesn't know, then I don't think anybody knows. So
Beth knows where to find out.
Okay, I'll give you that. So Beth, we have a resolution in front of us. There's some dates. The actual date of the approval and public hearing for this proposed annexation is actually scheduled on June the 9th. And the commissioners have expressed concern that we would approve a resolution before the public hearing was held and approved by the town. So we have discussed having a special meeting on June the 10th to approve this. Do you have any issues if we do that? or is that the best course of action in your opinion? Or do we have any?
Yeah, that's actually fine. The issue is that the statute the statute requires you to use the date of the last publication as your triggered, what I call the trigger date for your referendum, for setting your referendum. But as to when you all have that meeting, that's up to you.
Okay, the trigger date is May 24th.
Whatever that last date, it says the last at least 30 days and not more than 60 days after the last of such publications, the proposed annexation of the territory shall be submitted by the County Election Commission in an election. And the reference to the last publication, what I'm reading here is 6-51-105. The last publication is referenced in 6-51-104. And it's specific in B1A. That's the publication requirements for the city.
And Chad, the last day of publication was the 24th. You only published just on one day.
Beth saw this as well. The notice was published, well, it was on the 24th. Is there going to be another notice or?
Well, the city has the issue the city faces is that they have to have the publication of the notice before their public hearing. So that's why you're going to see the notice in the paper before the actual final resolution is adopted.
Yeah, I guess my question was, you said the last date of publication, and we were told the publication date was the 24th. Is that the last and the only day of publication that we've had on this? We only did one day notice publication in the paper?
Mr. Chairman, Andrew Mills, that is correct. It was published in the Sunday edition. It was on the May 24th.
Okay, so we've discussed this with Chad. He says if we wait to the 10th after their meeting, it does not affect the timing. He wanted to get this all wrapped up before we started early voting for the August election, which I agree with him. I think that makes sense. And if we wait and defer this tonight until the 10th to approve, after they finally have approved everything, it seems to me the better way to go about this so no one can ever challenge this. Otherwise, we would approve of this resolution to call a referendum before they've actually had the meeting and the town has actually proposed and signed it. So that's what's making us uncomfortable.
Yeah, and that makes sense. You can do that. Again, you're still going to use the date of the last publication as the basis for your referendum date. You're just wanting to make sure the city adopts the actual resolution, and that's fine.
Okay. Would it be fine to approve this before they've finally adopted it?
You could probably approve it conditionally. You could probably say that this, we're going to set this date based upon this trigger, but Chad will have to wait and get a signed copy of the resolution before he actually goes forward with preparing it. Whichever way you want to handle it is, I think the law allows you to do it.
Okay, I'll throw this back to Mr. Duda and Ms. Smith, who had concerns. You guys would chime in.
Chairman, if it's all the same, I'll defer to your decision on whether to hold a meeting or not. I think the nature and the sensitivity of annexations and the history of our county of annexations outside the urban growth boundary, I don't anticipate issues, but at the same time, that's my concern, is that we allow the public hearing process to occur. We follow up after the town of Thompson Station has taken formal action in this instance. But again, I will defer to the rest of the board if they wish a conditional approval and get that done today, if that's what you wish.
Dana, do you have some thoughts?
I guess technically I'd probably still feel better waiting and just having a clean resolution.
Phyllis or Kim, do y'all have thoughts?
Mr. Chair, did you call? We did not hear you, sir.
I was asking the other two commissioners,
Oh, I apologize.
Kim Henke and Phyllis Strife, if they have any thoughts they would like to convey at this time.
Kim Hickey, no additional comments.
Okay, well, we have a motion on the table from Mr. Duda. We have a second from Ms. Smith to defer this resolution to June the 10th.
Actually, the
Special call
second was
meeting.
from Phyllis Strife.
I agree with you, Dana.
I apologize. Second was Ms. Strife. At this time, are there any further discussions before I call a vote? Seeing none, Dana,
I vote aye to defer.
Ms. Strife,
I to defer.
Mr. Duda,
Yes, Jonathan Duda, aye to defer.
Ms. Henke,
Kim Hickey, aye.
and this is Robert Brown. I vote aye as well. Motion carries 5-0. So we will defer items related to this to June the 10th. So that would mean, obviously, we have to put a call to a meeting June the 10th at 4 o'clock.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question about if Beth is still on the line, about the difference in the resolution numbers that needs to be clarified.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Beth, the resolution number as it appeared in the public notice was referring to the public notice and not to the resolution regarding the actual annexation. So there was some confusion around that issue.
And I guess I'm not, so the resolution number in the newspaper is different than the actual resolution that adopted?
I'll get one of the attorneys for the town to comment on that.
Thank you. Andrew Mills, Thompson Station. Resolution 2020-008 called for the public hearing and was passed by Thompson Station earlier in the year. Resolution 2020-009 will be the resolution that actually calls for the referendum, and that's what's before the town of Thompson Station's BOMA on Tuesday night.
I'm sorry, sir.
To the paper on May 20. For the public hearing.
Mr. Mills, I'm sorry, this is Beth Henry Robertson. I really didn't hear most of what you said because I don't know if it was my internet but it cut out quite a bit. So I hate to ask you to repeat, but.
No, sorry, and I think it may have been on our end. I think that we had some pop-ups. Can you hear me right now?
I hear you now.
Okay. So resolution 2020.
I don't hear you now.
How about now? Hello? No. Possibly. Hello?
Hello?
Hello. I think our connection may be a little slow at the moment. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Hey, Beth, can you hear me?
Mr. Chairman, we can hear you now. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I think Beth Henry Robinson is on mute. Beth, I think your input is on mute. You might want to unmute it. Well, let me, Chad, since we've already made the decision to defer this, could you talk to Beth and just clear all that up? Chad? Have we lost Chad?
I think we have, Mr.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm gonna have a private, I will call Chad and ask him to clear that question up between him and Beth and the town. Just make sure everyone's on board. I don't think we need to act on that. So prior to adjourning this meeting, is there any other business that needs to come before the commission?
I'm sorry, I got disconnected. Yeah, I can sort this out with her, but I think it is very important that the resolution numbers be consistent with what will appear actually on the ballot. So that was my concern with her.
Okay, could you make sure that you and the attorneys at the town of Thompson Station and Beth all are in agreement on how we move forward with that?
Sure, we can do that. I think I understand there needs to be a few revisions in the actual resolution that was sent by email. Can someone confirm that?
Yes, I have those revisions per what the chairman said, and I've got it ready to send you now.
Okay, thank you.
But we'll also get it signed on the 9th. So for the
Correct.
meeting on the, okay. Okay, any other business to bring before the commission? We appreciate all the visitors. Thank you, Beth. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Thank you, town of Thompson Station, for the clarity. And this meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you.